All right, what's up? Good morning, PT on Ice Daily Show. Jeff Moore here, CEO of Ice, lead faculty for our lumbar and cervical spine management courses, coming at you from Brooklyn. Going to fly out of here this morning. Was in Danbury, Connecticut, so a huge thanks to Melissa Reed at Reed Fitness and Physical Therapy in Danbury for bringing us out there. Had an absolute blast. I apologize for my voice. Got very excited, not only during the class, but during the WOD and throughout the whole weekend. What a wonderful group of people to work with. Had an absolute hoot out there. So thanks everybody for that, and look forward to more courses with Melissa and company down the road. Talk about someone who's doing an incredible job leading with a fitness-forward mindset and combining, physical therapy with lifestyle behaviors and high-intensity, constantly varied functional fitness. They are doing an unreal job. So Melissa, thanks for leading, and what a resource for everybody in the Danbury area. So since it's Monday, and I am not Mike Eisenhart, many of you heard Mike last week. We're now no longer having Mondays with Pop because Mike and the crew are moving a lot of their content over to the APHPT umbrella. So they now have such a large amount of content and a great amount of followers that a lot of the content for the APHPT division is going to move under the APHPT umbrella. So importantly, if you're tracking the applied prevention health promotion content, you need to get over to aphpt.org, jump in with that crew, and see if you can get a hold of their recording from last week, because they had a big orientation meeting as they're really setting sails and getting reorganized and going to the next level with all that great material. So those of you who are in Vice, you'll still be seeing Mike and Allie dropping in, talking about those concepts, but certainly they're at a point now where that whole ship is organizing under the umbrella and taking off and, like I said, going to the next level with that content. So also, we mentioned last week that we were going to do Q&A Monday starting this week. I did see some questions roll in, but I will jump on that starting next week. I had a topic lined up, so I'm going to knock that out, and then we'll bring in the questions that have already come in from this past week into next week, Monday Q&A. So throughout the week, feel free to throw questions at faculty, and then one of us will jump on Monday, whoever the most appropriate member of the team is for those questions, and we'll knock those things out. So that'll be a blast starting next week, Monday. Today, though, I want to talk about, we had some great conversations about this over the weekend, and many of you who have come to our courses know that in our cervical and lumbar courses that are really devoted to clinical reasoning and the framework of how to go about patient care, that we have the top 5 things that we believe the best in our profession do that other people don't do that allow them to deliver exceptional outcomes. Many of you know that one of those things is that they are strong across all domains, right? They don't have any gaps in their skill set. One parallel that we see a lot too in that thinking is the CrossFit Hopper model of fitness, right? So if you have ever read the level 1 training guide, which is freely available for download on the internet, you know that one of the ways that the CrossFit crew measures or assesses fitness is through the Hopper method, right? This idea that if you put every possible physical challenge into a big hopper, right? Long distance events, heavy load events, anaerobic events, aerobic events, and any myriad of or array of styles or performances, right? And you spun the hopper and pulled out a ball and read that contest, the individuals who show up, who consistently perform well across all of those widely varied opportunities are considered to be the fittest, right? Because they don't have any gaps or any chinks in their armor, as they would say, right? They are competent across all domains. So they're ready for anything, right? And that can be contrasted to somebody who maybe has incredible or truly exceptional performance. And I believe what's in that level 1 guide is like somebody who can run the 4 or 5 minute mile, right? While they have exceptional performance in that one area, that comes at a cost to other areas where they are, without exception, going to perform very, very poorly, because you have to give up strength and power to be able to get yourself in a position physically where you can run that fast of a mile. So by going for exceptional status in one domain, you're coughing up competence across all the others, right? You're getting outstanding, but you're giving up a lot of good. And when we look at patient care and we look at clinicians who are truly rising above and beyond the rest, we really believe in that same parallel that even for those who are treating a relatively niche population, you are going to be dealing as a clinician with an infinite amount of variables on any given day. Right? So those who are most competent across the greatest amount of variables really stand at the ready to do the overall best job. If you think about it, in a given day, a clinician can expect to, if they're practicing at the top of their license and with the evidence-based or evidence-forward mindset, you can expect them to have to use multi-joint weight-bearing progressive loading to build resilience and functional competence or dominance in a given individual. They're going to perform spinal thrust manipulation to multiple regions of the spine. They're going to have conversations with certain individuals about how hurt doesn't equal harm and the complexity of the pain experience and how they're going to manage somebody who has legitimate chronic pain, maladaptive beliefs, right, and all the hypersensitivities that come along with that. They're going to explain the role of lifestyle behaviors to folks regarding pain and performance. They might use repeated motions to be able to centralize someone's symptoms, significantly decrease their disability. All of these things are going to have to take place on any given Monday. Now, the people who strive for really tremendous performance in one of those areas, so maybe somebody does 25 spinal manipulation courses, and hey, maybe they are better than almost anybody else at spinal manipulation. And maybe in that one patient, their slightly better expertise in that area does give them a little bit better of an outcome. The problem is the time devoted, sort of what we would call a little bit of a tunnel vision on developing tremendous competence in one area, necessarily takes away from the time spent to develop competence in solid practice across all of the other domains. The problem is, while you're going to deliver particularly good for that one person, in some of these other areas, you are going to completely drop the ball. So having tremendous performance in one area might give you slightly better outcomes, but you're neglecting entirely other areas that result in you really dropping the ball on some of those patients. The bottom line is, I think the nature of humans does not allow that kind of exclusivity in your skill set. The best among us, we really believe, stand ready at the door with no gaps. And what that means is, because they stand at the ready, no matter what patient rolls in, they're biased because they have certain really strong skill sets, but they have certain areas they're really not strong at all, or maybe not even competent in. Their bias undeniably is going to affect the patient's plan of care. Because no way those practitioners are going to want to go into those spaces, even though the patient, if you're actually looking at it objectively, might require it. They're not going to go into those spaces where they are weak, where they are exposed. So necessarily their gaps in skill set are going to bias the individual's plan of care. In the clinic, you have no idea what's going to walk through the door next. And if you have not developed competence across all domains, your gaps are necessarily going to bias the patient's plan of care. The true master clinician stands at that door with no preference. That patient rolls in, they've got really acute, non-radicular, nociceptive-driven musculoskeletal spine pain. They get after them with spinal manipulation, don't even think twice. That person walks in, they've had really long, ongoing symptoms. They've got pain catastrophizing and maladaptive beliefs. That clinician jumps right into therapeutic neuroscience education, talks about graded exposure, sets up a completely different plan of care. That person walks in with kind of an ongoing recalcitrant tendinopathy and needs some progressive load. That clinician's jacked to get out in the gym, get something heavy on that patient, set them up a really good programming, and track them out the next 6 to 8 weeks. That person comes in with screaming radic and needs some repeated motions to centralize those symptoms, right? Increase that functional mobility before moving to more of a loading program. That clinician can't wait to try a wide variety of lateral shift corrections and sagittal plane movements. The point is, that person is not only ready, but eager to tackle anything that comes in the door. They're excited about it because they love all of it. They love all of it because they've earned competence in all areas. More importantly, they aren't steering that patient away from an area that they would maximally benefit because they know that they themselves haven't earned the competence. It is the Hopper PT version, right? Really think about this. That's the challenge I want to leave you all with today is I think the best clinicians, the ones that you watch and are just blown away by their mastery in the clinic. I think those people have a really incredible ability to be constantly evaluating their skill sets and not looking for where they're good and making them great, but looking for where there are gaps and plugging them. Because they stand there with a different confidence, a confidence that says, I don't care what your problem is. Come at me. I'm not only ready, I'm pumped. That only comes when you know that underneath the hood, there exists no glaring gaps. If there is one, the same way the athlete will worry about the hopper, the clinician has to worry about the patient presentation. When those are eliminated, there's a different level of competence and a different level of mastery. It's not about tremendous performance in one area. It's about very strong performance in all areas. Those are the clinicians that bias the least, that perform the best. Think about that a bit and really challenge yourself, right? Really challenge yourself. Where are your gaps? When those patients come in, what are you hoping you don't have to do? And as opposed to steering care away from that, spend the next 6 months making darn sure you never feel that way again for the rest of your career. What do you need to read? Who do you need to shadow? What course do you need to go to? Figure out what it is and spend the next 6 months to a year plugging that gap so you stand at the ready without them. Think about that. I love this concept. We've been talking about this for years at courses, that those are the samurais among us, the ones that you just can't get anything past them because they're ready no matter where you shoot the puck. Where are you in that? And where do you need to be? Give it some thought. Hit me up with some comments. A lot of great stuff coming up. This week today, you can still jump in, I think, to I know CMFA Essential Foundation sold out. You can still jump into Persistent Pain Comprehensive Management. I know Justin still has spots there, so if you want to jump in there, if you're knocking out the certification, that's one of those gaps, make sure to jump into that class. If managing persistent pain is one of your gaps, you don't know how to change lanes and measure pressure pain threshold, 2-point discrimination, how to use laterality, graphesthesia, mirror box training. You hear those words, but you don't really know how to use them in clinic, so you don't use them in clinic, but your patient needs them. Fill the gap. Hop into that class. Hope everybody has an awesome Monday. I'm going to hop on a plane and get back to Colorado. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.